Hello everyone, my name is Mariana and I am here with my colleagues Daniel, Dijiva and Arash to talk to you about the tax penalty and how this topical theme is related to the nature of human altruism text by Fehr and Fischbacher.
Today, Team 4 is discussing about the tax penalty, which is quite familiar for everyone, and we are trying to address and answer the following question. How does the tax penalty imposed by governments influence large-scale cooperation and how much it is tied into the elements of human altruism? Thanks for joining us. Proximate theory, which carries the concept of strong reciprocity, provides rational answer to this question. It basically says that individuals have proximate motives beyond their economic self-interest, which means they are willing to cooperate only if they believe that their counterparts or opponents will cooperate too. If such belief is shaped in their mind, then mutual cooperation happens, otherwise mutual defect will happen, where individuals don't cooperate and mutual defect will be an equilibrium. So, strong reciprocity, which underlies the proximate theory, is a powerful basis for explaining the cooperation. Strong reciprocators, mentioned earlier, reward those who cooperate and punish those who don't. Specifically, altruistic rewarding pattern, which naturally exists among all humans, justifies such a proximate behavior. It says individuals increase their contributions only if contribution of other group members increases. In other words, individuals contribute more only if others raise their contributions. If strong reciprocators believe that no one else in the group will cooperate, they don't cooperate either. Such belief forms their decision to whether or not cooperate in the group. However, such mechanism is successful only for small groups. It doesn't work for large-scale cooperation. Increasing number of group members decays and fairs the cooperation mainly because of the free riders in the society that always try to take advantage of the others' works. A few selfish players suffice to undermine the cooperation of the cooperators. Only and only in the presence of strong punishment opportunities for the free riders, strong reciprocators are capable of making widespread cooperation. And that's where tax penalty comes into effect, to punish the free riders and selfish players who do not follow the society's norm, as agreed by everyone for wealth extraction. Since maintaining and developing the economy heavily depends on the large-scale cooperation in the society, tax evasion in any form makes people believe that other members do not contribute. It may then cause contribution reduction of the people in the society. So, tax penalty offsets such belief and maintains it at the service of large-scale cooperation.
Our first comparison response to our question at hand comes from Mancur Olson. For Olson, tax obligations and penalties allow governments to force cooperation among its citizens and generate revenue to provide public resources and common goods. As common goods are available to all, most individuals willingly pay their fair share to ensure that the government can continue to provide the necessary services to society. Olson's text details that the most important organization in any society is the state or the government. This entity provides basic goods and services like defense, police, law and order systems that are available to everyone in the society. Olson added that a governmental entity does not have significant sources of revenue, and that is where taxation enters the discussion. From reviewing Olson's findings, he does not state directly that individuals meet tax obligations due to altruism. He focuses on a compulsory requirement. Thus, he is noting that the idea of taxation is a means to an end, with the end being the government generating enough revenue to provide services. Moving on to Max Weber. A response using this text would be that the tax penalty is a form of rational legal authority as a domination type. Essentially, people make sure they pay taxes because it is illegal not to, and it supports the legitimacy that the taxes they are paying go towards improving the government and the society that they live in. The governmental entity would be the legal authority as noted by Weber. It clearly consists of hierarchy positions with the power of individuals increasing as one moves up the chain. In most societies, there is typically a body of government that would handle taxes and their compliance. Individuals understand that they must cooperate with this entity and know that there will be consequences if they do not. A deviation from compliance would be a sign of disobedience. Weber takes the approach of the construction of the tax penalty system, and Ernest discusses the mindset of those paying taxes. Lastly, we come to Adam Smith. For Smith, individuals pay taxes because they are making sure their self interests are preserved. These interests include access to common goods provided by the society and government. People are not paying taxes to make sure someone else gets the benefit of the common goods, but rather they pay them to make sure they have access to this benefit. Smith in his text notes that humans are not naturally good, and that socialization is what makes people care for others, in that way addressing some human altruism elements.
Looking at the assumptions and ethical implications from the different texts that help us to answer our question, firstly, we found from Fehr's text that an assumption is that target punishment is a mechanism that in some contexts serves as a means to altruistic actions. This nature of altruism is seen in the text penalty system, where citizens and companies involved in tax evasion can be identified and fined by authorities. In this scenario, the ethical implication is if people should be given a choice to reject access to common goods in exchange for not paying taxes and not being subjected to any type of penalization. Taxes are essential for governmental entities to provide many of its common goods. However, they are taken out of people's income automatically with limited possibilities of resistance. Moreover, from Olson's text, we can assume that the state is a non-profit organization which has a mandate of serving citizens, and taxation is a mechanism that allows it to collect the revenue to provide public resources and common goods. In this line, the ethical implication is that citizens seek to preserve a good relationship with the government by paying their fair share of taxes according to their income. Citizens' objective is to ensure that the government can continue to provide the necessary services to society, as well as satisfy their needs for economic activities. Finally, from Weber text, an assumption is that citizens perceive tax penalty as a legal authority and domination system. Citizens comply with their fiscal obligations because it is illegal not to do so, and to avoid penalizations. In this case, the ethical implication is that collaboration is induced only to avoid punishment, which weakens the ultimate purpose of taxation, which is the wealth extraction agreed by groups of the overall well-being of a society.
All answers that we previously explored are important and valid, but from our perspective, these are the most relevant points of them. Based on Fehr text, the nature of human altruism, we agree that tax penalty as a punishment is necessary to reinforce and maintain the psychological state of large groups in a society, leading them to cooperate. Fehr also defends that even a minority of strong reciprocators is enough to discipline a majority of selfish individuals when direct punishment is possible, and describes the strong reciprocity as a powerful incentive for cooperation. In that way, repeated interactions, reputation formation, strong reciprocity with rewards and punishments mostly explains human altruism behaviors behind avoiding tax penalties. In the theory of groups also explores the idea that organizations, in that case represented by the government, holds a fundamental function to provide public and collective goods. In that sense, citizens tend to fairly collaborate in order to guarantee that the government can continue to provide the necessary services, and that each member of the society will have an egalitarian access. Max Weber also has an important contribution to the theme by exploring the irrational legal authority endorsed by the government with tax penalties. Our conclusion is that taxes are rationally and legally supported in many people's minds, making them believe that this is a convergent point in the whole society. People understand that there is more advantages in the collaboration behind paying taxes than disadvantages, by giving them access to many common services, which they could not afford if they had to pay for each service separately. Taxes can be dated back to the Boston Tea Party in 1776 as part of the history of the American colonies, where individuals wanted benefit from paying taxes. Society has come a long way since then, but the concept and importance of taxes contribution has held firm and goes further than simply avoiding the risk of tax penalties. Thank you very much for your audience.